Hello and welcome back, gamers, to me talking about completely useless information for the next 8 minutes and 25 seconds. If you're new, please, consider subscribing. It will be the second worst decision in your life besides existing. Today's topic is the history of terrain, specifically in waifu chess. Terrain is an integral part of Fire Emblem, as it's what makes up the entirety of chapter maps. Terrain comes in many different shapes, sizes, and forms, giving bonuses to units that are placed on specific tiles. These bonuses vary from game to game, tile to tile, chapter to chapter. The bonuses gained from terrain tiles consist of defense, resistance, avoid, health restoration, and status restoration. Firstly, there's the standard plain/grassland. Since it is the most common tile, it gives no bonuses or hindrances. It stays completely neutral in most games. The original Shadow Dragon and Mystery of the Emblems version of these tiles give a small bonus to avoid. There's also floor tiles, which are exactly the same as plain tiles, but for inside maps. Forest tiles are some of the more common types of tiles, especially in Genealogy of the Holy War. In most games, forest tiles give 20 avoid and 1 defense, with a movement cost of 2, but earlier games like Shadow Dragon and Mystery of the Emblem instead give 15 avoid. Gaiden's forest tiles give a grand total of 40 avoid, but Gaiden's a weird game, so... Thickets are a slightly better version of forest tiles, giving 40 to 30 avoid and 5 defense in Genealogy and Thracia. Thickets are rare both in-game and out. They're mostly hidden within forest tiles and can be quite hard to differentiate the two. Thickets go dormant for most of the series until making its return in Radiant Dawn, which only gives 10 defense, 1 res, and no avoid. Thickets disappear for 5 more games before showing up in the most recent entry, 3 Houses. 3 Houses Thickets differ drastically in their terrain bonuses, ranging from 15 avoid to a maximum of 30. Pillars are the indoor counterpart to forest tiles, usually found scattered about in indoor chapters, giving 10 to 20 avoid with an additional 1 defense. Knights and mounted units suffer a 3 movement penalty from pillars, but it's not like the mounted units care with their high movement. Knights, on the other hand, Mountains are another outdoor terrain that restricts most units from crossing, except flyers, brigands, and berserkers. They grant an even bigger bonus, providing 2 defense and a whopping 30 avoid. Peaks are just mountains that hit different. 2 defense and 40 avoid is extremely broken, but just like mountains, they can only really be utilized by brigands and berserkers. Sea tiles are some of the more rare variations, only really being used in a handful of maps. They're mostly used by pirates, berserkers, flying units, and Zane in FE11 and 12. Giving only a measly 10 avoid in most games, the earlier games range from 30 to a flat 0 in avoid. Genealogy's sea tiles are a bit unique in the sense that they don't really benefit you at all. They give minus 30 avoid when standing on them, which doesn't really matter as none of your playable units can even go on them. Now, one type of terrain that is not rare is thrones, being in every map in the entire series, except for some route, escape, and survive chapters. These tiles are infamous for being very annoying to deal with, giving really good bonuses to the one who sits on it. Over the course of the series, thrones have gotten to be more annoying than the original variation in Shadow Dragon. The most annoying version has got to be from Fire Emblem The Binding Blade. This version gives 30 avoid, 3 defense, 10% healing, status restoration, and a hidden plus 5 to resistance. FE6 is already annoyingly hard with very difficult bosses, but adding the effects of thrones makes some boss battles almost unwinnable without the use of cheese or saving graces of characters. As the series progressed, throne effects have decreased for the better of everyone's sanity. Gates are a slightly weaker version of thrones, giving slightly decreased effects. Gates only appear on outdoor maps, while thrones appear in indoor maps. Desert maps are one of the most frustrating types of chapters. Some of them are good, while others are just pain. This is mostly due to desert tiles. hindering the movement of most units. Mounted units especially, as they get a 4 movement penalty, while mages and flying units can just roam around freely, making them more viable for these types of chapters. There are various sub-variations of all the previously mentioned tiles, but they're all mostly the same with only some minor differences between them. Now let's talk about unique tiles, starting with villages. Villages are found in literally every game in the series, being placed either near your starting position or all the way on the other side of the map. Most of the villages you encounter get destroyed upon a brigand or thief reaching them, but in the best game ever made, villages take several turns to destroy, most likely to compensate for the huge map design. Arenas, a section of the map where you pit your unit against another for glory, gold, fame, and most importantly, EXP. Arenas vary from game to game, having but one thing in common. Your units die if they are killed. Permanently. Except in Genealogy of the Holy War, where arenas are not locations on the map, but rather inside castles, being accessible anytime, and with no penalty for losing. Armories, vendors, and houses. All pretty self-explanatory. Armories sell weapons of any variety. Vendors sell items, staves, and tomes, while houses serve no good gameplay purpose. They're just there to give information, hints, and tips, all of which is either common knowledge or something that can be easily searched up online. They do give some minor terrain bonuses, so they do serve a small gameplay purpose. Road tiles are exclusive to FE4 in the GBA games. GBA road tiles are just fancier plain tiles, while FE4 road tiles are completely different. A 10 avoid penalty is given to units who stand on them, but it can be cancelled out with leadership stars. But that's not all. Road tiles have a hidden benefit that is exclusive to infantry and mounted units. Most normal tiles have a movement cost of 1 or higher. Road tiles, however, have a movement cost of 0.7. This makes some units be able to cross entire sections of maps in just one turn. For example, take Selef, have him inherit the leg ring, promote him by chapter 7, and watch as he easily crosses this section of chapter 7. Forts and other healing terrain. They sure do. Walls are there to spice up maps, with some being breakable. Doors are... wait. Swamp terrain is annoying. Really annoying. Stairs are also really annoying. The special tiles in Radiant Dawn in 3 houses gives defense, resistance, and avoid, depending on the tile. Radiant Dawn specifically has a map full of them. They're really helpful, especially for 3 houses manding mode or Radiant Dawn hard mode. And that's it. All other terrain I didn't talk about are either unimportant or just reskins of other existing terrain. I would like to thank all of you that have made it to the end. Watch ReZero, read Kaguya-sama, stay hydrated, and most importantly subscribe. I'm out.